the October 29th segment of Trips and Traps. I'm Andy Serling, Eric Donovan, and we are back in Aqueduct.
Although the races we will show this week are all from Belmont Park last week, but we're kind of taking the approach of trying to find horses that might be able to help you off at this meet a little bit. We were a little bit up in the air about taking horses out of turf sprint races, so we're going to try to focus a little bit more on what we think some of the horses will run back here are.
Yeah, I mean, if you're showing turf sprints, they might be good if they happen to go to Florida or when we get back to Belmont in May, but we're not going to have any turf sprints at Aqueduct. So like Eric said, we'll focus on some horses. We'll see here, hopefully. And
let's take a look at the first race we'll do on the segment here. This is October 23rd, race number 2 from Belmont. This is a maiden claimer for 2-year-old fillies. The horse we're interested in here is a number 4, Sejano. As you can see, Sejano breaking a couple steps slowly here after the start, and probably missing by about maybe a length or two break early on. But then this horse makes a big move, as we see when the tape rolls here. We're going to see Sejano make a nice run on the outside here, starting right about now to get into contention, and really runs a strong race from this point on.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing when horses get left. When they get left, in a case Sejano, maybe broke 3/4 of a length to a length slowly, but they're always exacerbated, or often exacerbated, and that the horse drops back. As you saw, he was 2 lengths behind very rapidly, and now, of course, the horse is making what you could consider a premature move. Now, the winner of the race is the horse in front, and that was a Carlos Martin horse who was coming off a layoff. But Sejano runs a terrific race, and as you see here, he's moving right up to the lead.
Yeah, big effort considering where he was at the start. He's second right now, and the horse that does win the race so much trouble was a 7-5 favorite, and here pretty much got away with things to her own end on the front side here, and really made it easy work for her. But a horse like Sejano certainly a little bit up against it after that start, and we're going to see Sejano just get nipped for the second spot here by Posse in effect. So Sejano was a first-time starter in this race, trained by Danny Pites. I would expect this horse to move forward in her second career start.
Yeah, I almost wish she lost by more, because all things considered, she ran very well, having gotten left and making that huge premature move. And next time out, this horse gets out of the gate in a similar kind of field. It's going to be very, very tough to beat.
Similar kind of race we're going to show now is also from the 23rd. Actually, one race later. This is race number 3. This is a maiden claimer for 2-year-olds. And we're going to take a look at the 1A Triple Glory here. Doesn't run quite as well, I don't think, as Sejano does, but has a little bit more trouble at the start. Here's the start with Triple Glory breaking from post number 4. We're going to see not get off to all that great a beginning, and then things get kind of exacerbated here with some bumping and some stumbling there. So just a bad spot early for Triple Glory. And you'll see when we switch to the pan shot of the start just how much that problem at the start cost Triple Glory. Here's the break on the pan shot here, and Triple Glory's in the pack now. Now you see him steady out there, the 1A, and that really was a significant problem at the start there for Triple Glory. Kind of gets off the screen here. We'll pick it back up at the top of the stretch with Triple Glory, trying to close down inside here. Does make a decent run here. This is the kind of horse that I think might get away a little bit of a price next time out, depending on the size of the field, just because he was pretty far beaten here. He's beaten more than 10 lengths in the spot, actually beaten more than 12 lengths, I believe, here. Does a little bit of running late, still splits half the field in here. All in all, I thought a decent effort, maybe a race that Triple Glory can improve off of, and this was his first start for trainer Bob Barbera.
Yeah, and the other thing you never know, especially with a first-time starter in this situation, is what kind of speed the horse might have. And maybe this horse is a bit of a lagger the way it ran, but maybe it was just so badly eliminated at the start that whatever running style it has was mitigated by the beginning. So it'll be interesting to see Triple Glory back. And yeah, I don't know. You never know with these horses. This is not he's a horse we're looking for, see where he fits and see what kind of race he is and see what kind of price he is. But there's no question he ran better than it looks on paper.
Yeah, I agree. It's 2 maiden claimers out of the way. We'll get to some stakes horses now. This is also from the 23rd at Belmont. Race number 8. This is Sailor's Cap. It was an overnight stakes race called the John's Gold. Really, the key to the race here is how the race develops. We're going to see Sailor's Cap break toward the outside in those Team Valor silks, the green silks with the red cap.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I wanted to show is that Eric and I did Talking Horses on this day, and we had a very, very big disagreement about this race. And ultimately, Eric proved absolutely right. Eric said that Wishful Tomcat was going to go to the lead and going to win the race. I said he wasn't going to go to the lead, and I didn't particularly like him. He went to the lead, and he walked in the front end. Now, even, I'd have to say, you, Eric, were a little surprised how slow this pace was.
Actually, you know what? I really wasn't, to be honest with you. As I said that day on Talking Horses, the mile and a 16th and the mile and a 1/8 on the inner, they really produce slower fractions. And I know that you think they're quicker than they actually are, just because the way the turn unfolds. But still, the way that turn comes up so quickly, it slows these horses down going around that turn and going onto the backstretch.
That's true, but that's two reasons. That's the second reason. The first one is there's no run-up. There's no real run-up in these mile and 16th races. So when you have a short run-up, the first fraction is obviously going to be slow. So that's one of the reasons you always see a slow pace. The other one is, as you said, the dynamic of that chute going right into a turn. As it was, well, Sailor's Cap has now left the screen. Now, anybody that's familiar with Sailor's Cap, who is the best horse in this race, I don't think you would argue with that overall in what he's done. I mean, this horse jogged in a big race in Virginia, but he's got some speed. And now, as you see, there he is revving up 4 wide on the turn behind this very, very slow pace. Now, he's coming off a long layoff. He had some issues. I think he was off about 3 months in here, and they're probably targeting the Hollywood Derby. And there he's making this 4 wide move in the slow pace. And all things considered, it just feels like this was a prep race for the race down the road, which it felt a bit like going into it. And there's Slambino, of course, overcame the slow pace, came from dead last and tried to win. Had he been able to angle outside here, I believe he would have won. And I'm still not sure he lost.
I mean, I liked Wishful Tomcat this day. I was very surprised that he was able to win the race here. I remember being upstairs, and I thought that Slambino won, and Sonny Taylor and the placing judges knocked on my window. He said, "Eric, it's the 5, it's the 5."
Yeah, well, that's good for you.
Yeah, it was good for me that day, and certainly Sailor's Cap, a horse you're going to have to keep an eye on down the road.
Considering that they obviously needed the race, the horse hadn't been out, as we said, and the way the race developed and the way he ran, this horse is going to probably go out for the Hollywood Derby, and he's going to face Gio Ponte and Court Vision as well as some others. I hope he faces the horses that ran the Oak Tree Derby after the Santa Anita Saturday, because those horses are not much. Gio Ponte is superior to them, and even Court Vision is. But I think that Sailor's Cap has shown that he's competitive, if not as good, if not better than those horses, and he may be a bit of a price off losing this race and making his second start. And Sailor's Cap, to me, 1 race under his belt, going to be very tough.
Some good points there. We're going to get to the second half of Trips and Traps right after this. Stay tuned. Sign back on for the second half. Remember the email address, tripsandtraps@NYRANK.com. You could drop Andy or I a line, and we'll do our best to get back to you ASAP.
Yeah, and perhaps show some race if you have some ideas. So we'd love to hear from you. And, of course, next week we'll be doing Aqueduct.
Come on back for the next segment.